I'm going to ask our team to start recording now. Thank you very much. First, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Tamara Perry, the Director of Solar and Storage Programs at Energy Solutions. I just wanted to start off by saying how thrilled and honored I am to be working on this program and really look forward to working with all of you and speaking with you in the future. A few quick housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone is going to be muted other than the presenters during the presentation. If you have any questions that you think of during the webinar, please use the Q&A function to submit a question rather than the chat box. We'll make sure to address as many of those as we can at the end of the presentation. And then we also will address those offline. And we have another webinar scheduled for next week that we'll talk about in a bit as well. So the purpose of today's meeting is to introduce you to the Energy Solutions team. Thank you for the opportunity to be the program administrator for the Adjustable Block Program and share our vision and plans to share important updates on and what to expect during the transition period and to provide you with guides and updates on what to expect, not only just in the next few weeks, but in the coming months and beyond. So to get started, I'd like to pass the microphone to Anthony Starr and Audrey Steinbach from the Illinois Power Agency to kick us off. So thank you both.
Great, thank you, Tamara. I'm Anthony Starr. I'm the director of the Illinois Power Agency. We're the state agency that oversees the Adjustable Block Program, as well as other aspects of the state's renewable portfolio standard and energy procurement. So I'd like to thank everybody for participating in today's webinar. This is a great opportunity to learn about what's happening. I'm really excited about the program enhancements that you'll be hearing about that will be coming along for the Adjustable Block Program that will improve the experience for the approved vendors, designees, and participants in the program. A lot of exciting things coming your way as we move forward with the next phase of the Adjustable Block Program. I'd also really like to thank the staff at the IPA who's been working on the transition, as well as Energy Solutions, getting a lot accomplished very quickly. I'd also like to thank the staff over at Incline, the previous program administrator, for their assistance in this transition period. Finally, I would like to thank all of you for your patience and understanding during this transition. It has been complicated. There's a lot of pieces still being developed and a lot of information that will be shared today that will be very helpful to you. So I really appreciate everything that people have done during this time to prepare for the future of the program. And with that, I will turn over to Audrey.
Thanks, Anthony. I just wanted to echo everything that Anthony just said. I'm really excited for this next post-CEJA phase of the Adjustable Block Program. Really excited about the work that Energy Solutions is going to present today and continue developing as the program administrator. I wanted to thank everyone for continued support and participation in the program. And with that, I will turn it back to Energy Solutions.
Great, thank you, Anthony and Audrey. So just a little bit about Energy Solutions and looking forward on the program. Energy Solutions was founded over 25 years ago with the mission of creating large-scale environmental impacts through performance or market-based solutions. We focus on programs related to energy efficiency, distributed energy resources, and policy and ratings that support utilities, state, and local governments. And what this really means is that in order to successfully implement these programs, it's really fundamentally important to partner and work with market actors to provide the highest level of support for both the program and its participants. So really want to thank you for starting that engagement and relationship today. Energy Solutions works in over 30 states and Canada and has deployed multiple new and relevant market transformation programs, including the Oregon Community Solar Program, the California Clean Heating Program, and the California Electric Emerging Technologies Program, as well as a myriad of other new programs in the Pacific Northwest, Midwest, and Northeast. We have a deep bench of experience in solar programs, beginning with the California Solar Initiative and the Distributed Generation Statistics website, which were both developed starting in around 2011. This team and experiences afford us the opportunity to bring even more directly applicable experiences and lessons to the APB program today. So I'm excited to introduce you to some of the very talented and dedicated program administration team who are going to be presenting today. We are experienced, reliable, and flexible partners who are proactive, committed to excellence, accountable, and collaborative. And I hope you really see that as we continue to work with you over the coming months. I've already introduced myself. Rebecca Fearlicht is a senior manager here at Energy Solutions. She and I are leading the program's transition. Rebecca's gonna jump in and speak in a few moments, and the rest of the team sits in either our operations or software teams. Randy, Keely, Sarah, and Michelle will be introducing themselves and sharing content later in the presentation. So I wanted to start off by sharing just our excitement and gratitude to be working with all of you on this program. We're very committed to partnering with approved vendors to drive program growth and to build on the impressive work and impact that has been achieved so far, meeting Illinois' energy goals. And I wanted to acknowledge that there can be a lot of, I would say, anticipation and stress when there is a large change like this. And we're really kicking off this new phase of the program. And I want to assure you that we're committed to continuing to grow the adjustable block program with all of you, to continue partnering and collaborating and to provide support and answers to questions. Although much of the transition work is in progress, you'll see plans for enhanced processes, streamlined communications, and more as time goes on. Our goal is to make this program clear to understand and participate in, and to provide timely and relevant updates to key stakeholders, identifying frequent opportunities for collaboration and engagement. We're planning enhancements to the program experience in many ways, including bringing on technical and engineering support, new sector strategists who will provide subject matter expertise and work with AVs, as well as our application processing team. We also believe in managing a program through data-driven decision-making, bringing more visibility to program processes and strategy, and leveraging that information for program refinements. So now maybe taking a little bit step closer to the transition period, we're going to walk you through a few different ways you'll be able to interact with the program administrator and complete key activities during the transition period, which is really between July 1 and September 1. Beginning September 1 of this year, more activities are planned for availability via the Enhanced Energy Solutions portal that will create one easy place to conduct your business. The 4 areas that we'll discuss in this presentation include what's going to be available in the legacy portal, what's available in the new portal, including login for disclosure forms, what is available as part of our SharePoint file transfer, and then lastly, our email processes. So now I'm going to pass it on to Rebecca to talk more about the program team and key program dates. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Tamara. Hi, everyone. As Tamara mentioned, I'm Rebecca Fearlicht. I'm a senior manager here at Energy Solutions, and Tamara and myself will be overseeing the daily administration of the adjustable block program. So I just wanted to take a minute to say that as the new administrator of this program, we're going to be supporting key functions in consultation and with oversight from the Illinois Power Agency. This includes operational functions related to application submission and invoicing, customer service through our contact center, upstanding and also improving the functionality of the program portal. And then in addition to operations, our team will be dedicated to consumer protection activities, not only through complaint resolution, but also with an increased focus both on consumer and approved vendor and designee education and outreach, as well as a focus on internal and external diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. As part of our core administration team, we are also installing dedicated sector strategists who will be focused on supporting vendors across each of the 6 blocks of the program. And we really look forward to providing more detail and information on our team and structure in the coming weeks. So we feel that we've built an all-star team to support these various efforts. This also includes assistance and support from our project partners, including our operations partners, our technical partners, who are going to be supporting application review, inspections, and education initiatives, as well as our transition partners, who are subject matter experts in supporting the program strategy and also transition activities. Next slide, please. So speaking of the transition, here are the key program dates between this Friday, July 1st and November 1st. This table probably looks familiar to many of you. This information was released a few weeks ago and is currently listed on the program website as well. So we're implementing a phased approach to portal functionality as we rebuild the portal in the coming months. So as a recap, on July 1st, submissions of both Part 1 and Part 2 applications will be paused. However, disclosure form generation will still be available through our new program portal. On September 1st, Part 1 applications for project categories, with the exception of traditional community solar, will be available and accepted in the new portal. Traditional community solar is planned to be available on November 1st, as well as Part 2 applications for all program categories on November 1st as well. We've also heard how important the disclosure form API functionality is, especially for community solar enrollment. And while this will be available no later than September, we're going to begin testing this feature in early August with a plan to release in mid-August. And so as a temporary workaround, which we'll talk about in more detail later in the presentation, we're creating a CSV upload process for community solar disclosure forms beginning on July 1st. And at this point in time, I think I will pass it now to Sarah Wood to talk about our operations and more specifically, the various aspects of our transition.
Thank you, Rebecca. My name is Sarah Wood. I am the Data Analytics and KPI Reporting Manager here. And I'm just going to briefly touch on the Legacy Portal. So what we are referring to by Legacy Portal is the portal that you've been working in for the past several years. So moving forward, this Legacy Portal will be read-only and only be used as a reference for historical records. So it will cease to be available for transactions, and this change is going to occur after 2 p.m. Central on June 30th. So that's a date and time to be aware of. So moving forward, read-only access will be available to you in this Legacy Portal. It'll be granted on an as-needed basis. In order to get access to this read-only version, you'll have to email the IPA using that email you see on the screen here. We also would really like to encourage, if possible, if there's any Part 1 or 2 applications that you feel are ready, go ahead and try to submit those before 2 p.m. Central on June 30th as well. We will be processing applications in our backlog during this pause period, so we want to encourage as many applications to be submitted as possible. Next, we'll move on to July rec invoicing on the next slide. So for July rec invoicing, for those vendors that will have July rec invoices, you're going to receive a link directly to an iteration of the Legacy Portal from where you can access your invoices. So what the process will look like there, you'll receive an email to a separate portal link. You'll log in using your normal login procedure, same username and password, and you'll be able to download your invoices from there. So the period from which you can download those invoices will start July 1st and will end on July 10th. After the rec invoicing is complete during that July 1 to July 10 period, that invoice history will be moved to the read-only iteration of the portal. So next, I'm going to be handing off to Randy to discuss some new portal functionality. But first, as you log in to this new iteration to download your invoices, this is what you're going to be expecting to see. So you'll only see this option to download invoices. Just as a reminder, this will be a one-off process just for this July invoicing process. Off to Randy.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm not sure why my video didn't pop up. Hi, I'm Randy Moscow. I hope you're hearing me. For some reason or another, I'm not able to see what's going on here on my side.
You can hear you, Randy. You're good.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm the software product owner for our team here at Energy Solutions. Been working closely with InKime to help make the transition as swift as possible, as well as easy as possible. As you come on board to our new platform, you're going to see that the landing page and the address to get here is the same. It's still portal@illinoisavp.com, and you'll still be able to use the login button from the IPA site that you're accustomed to. You'll land onto this nice clean page in which you'll be requested to sign on. We'll also have a link back to the legacy system, which was the view-only system that Sarah just mentioned was going to be provided, and also a link back into Illinois Shines. Next slide, please. When you first log in onto our new platform, we will be requesting that everybody create a new password. Your user ID will remain the same, so you won't have to create a new name. And we've ported over all of the information about who you are from the legacy system, but we are requesting new passwords. So you'll see the first time you log in, oh, it doesn't know who I am. Next slide, please. This should look pretty familiar. You'll go through a simple dialogue of, I forgot my password, please give me an email address, of which you will receive an email from Illinois Support that will have a link, a limited life link, to which you can go ahead and click on that link and then provide the new password. Next slide, please. Like I said, should be pretty familiar operations. We're using standard processes. You'll be requested to add your new email, add your new password, and then you'll be able to go ahead and access our new site. Next slide, please. Once you get here, it's going to look like a new home page. You'll see very cleanly what your options are. We're starting off with disclosures, as you're all aware, and you'll be able to choose view disclosures, create disclosures, or upload signed forms. And relationships which existed between the vendors and the designees have all been maintained. We've ported that over, so should be able to proceed without any questions. Next slide, please. With regards to disclosure forms, as mentioned, we did bring over all the data from the legacy portal. We collected data for any of the disclosure forms which were in status submitted, awaiting signature, or complete. So if anything didn't get completed by the 2 p.m. deadline, that will not be coming over. So make sure that if you have anything in progress, that it gets all completed and submitted. We also have brought over all the signed PDFs, which had been previously uploaded, and you will still have access to them. We will have view disclosure forms started up with the legacy disclosure form. Again, a similar concept of a workbench. You'll be able to see which ones have been, what their status is, view the PDFs previously uploaded, and create PDFs for signature. Be able to start new disclosure forms for the distributed generation and community solar, and be able to upload disclosure forms for the signed PDFs. So if you had any wet signed ones, those can be uploaded, and you'll also be able to manage from the disclosures that were e-signed. And now I'd like to hand off to Keely.
Thanks, Randy. Hi, everyone. My name is Keely Weiss. I'm on the operations team here at Energy Solutions, and I will be overseeing the application processing on the program. So today I'm just going to walk through a few processes that we're handling over SharePoint during this kind of temporary transition period. So this includes the annual report and the biannual report, for which I'll go through a live demonstration here in just a moment, and a CSV process for community solar disclosure forms. So SharePoint is a system that allows us to create a secure folder for each approved vendor in the program. And so this will be setting up a folder for each AV, and it will only be accessible by the email address associated with your portal account and the program administration team. So Mike has here the steps that you'll need to go through to access your folder. So we'll send you an email with a link like this first screenshot here to open your folder. And once you click that open button, it will open a page in your web browser to prompt you to send a verification code. So then it will send a code to your email address. Again, that's the email associated with your portal account. And then you'll need to log into that email, retrieve the code, and enter it here to verify your identity. And then Mike, if you don't mind, I would like to share my screen, and then I can kind of just walk through what this is going to look like for you. All right, so once you get logged into your SharePoint folder, it should look something like this. We will be placing files in your folder to be used for the annual report process. So just want to be clear, in this example here, I have a couple of files that probably most of the approved vendors in the program won't have in their folder right away, but each should have at least 3 files in there. So I'm going to come back to this in just a moment, but to actually submit your annual report to the program, we're going to send you another email on July 5th with some additional information. So that's going to include a link to the actual form that we'll be using to collect your response, which should look like this. Something that is a little bit different from past years is that you'll need to self-identify your company within this form. So at the top, it has some instructions, and then you'll need to input information about yourself and your company. So we need your approved vendor ID. So if you're not sure what that is, this will be included in the email that you'll get, as well as it's actually part of the file or the folder name. So it'll be there for you. In this example, it's 999. So it's really important that you indicate this correctly so that we can record your response in the program. You'll also need to input your company name and just your first and last name and your email address so that we can get in contact with you if we have any questions. This next part of the annual report is where you'll need to interact with your SharePoint folder to submit your response. So the first few questions will direct you to go into your folder and review one of those files that we're going to place in there for you. So this first one is recs delivered by each of the systems in the portfolio. So it tells you here, but you'll need to go into your SharePoint folder and locate that file. And you can just pull it up and review the information to make sure that it's correct. So you'll just review that, and then within the form, you'll just indicate yes or no. So if it's all correct, it's pretty simple. You just write yes. If there's anything that is not correct, you'll just put no, and then you'll need to provide a detailed response by utility. So that would correspond to the contracting utility in that file. And then the next couple questions are similar to that. So the status of systems that have been approved but not yet energized. So again, you'll navigate into your SharePoint folder, and that's the systems not energized report. You'll review the information here, ensure that it's accurate, and then indicate yes or no. And then finally, the energized systems that have not delivered recs. Same process. You'll just need to come in here, pull up that file, and it should look something like this, and then indicate if it's correct or not. For community solar approved vendors, there's going to be another final question that will need the SharePoint folder. So we will place a file with subscriber information in it. So it will have, similar to what you're used to seeing in past years, information on the subscribers by type, as well as some like turnover rates for each of the projects in your portfolio. So, similar to the others, you'll just need to confirm that that's correct and indicate yes or no. And then for community solar approved vendors, there's also an additional attestation that you'll need to make here that the disclosure forms were signed by the subscribers. Now, if you're not a community solar approved vendor, you'll need to say NA because it's not applicable to you, and then you can just say I'm not a community solar approved vendor. And from there, you can just continue on into the form. So the rest of the annual report can all be answered just directly in the form. So you'll just need to go through and provide your responses. There are some pieces where a narrative response is required, and you can either just type your response directly into the form, or if you'd like to provide any additional documentation with your response, you can just upload those files to your SharePoint folder, and we'll review them as we're reviewing your annual report response. So I'll just do a quick demo. I mean, it's a pretty simple, interface to upload a file, but you'll just go in here under upload, file, and then, you can just select whatever file it is that you want to upload. And then SharePoint will, over here, it'll have kind of just a little pop-up to let you know that it was successful. So upload any additional documents that you'd like for us to review as part of this annual report, and we will do that. Just a couple other important pieces of information about the annual report. So there is not an option in this form to save your response and come back to it later. So you need to submit it all in kind of one sitting. To help with this, when we send out that email with a link to this form on July 5th, we're going to send you as well a guide that we put together, which will look like this. So this guide has all of the instructions that I've kind of gone over today of how to access your folder and what you'll need, how to use SharePoint. And then in the end, there's an appendix of questions. So this includes all the questions that are included in the annual report to just kind of help you prepare your responses ahead of time in case that's helpful to you. One other important update, in the very end, you'll need to make sure and click the submit button. If you don't click that submit button, your response won't be recorded and it will just be cleared out of the form. So I just want to reiterate, make sure you click submit. And then once we do receive your response, we'll send out email confirmation messages to you to let you know that it was received. And we'll let you know if we have any questions or need additional information from you. You must reply to the annual report by July 15th. If you don't reply, that is an event of default under the REC contract, so please make sure to respond in a timely manner. We'll also send email reminders over the, after the first week of the report being open to let you know if we haven't heard from you yet, to remind you to get your response submitted. All right, so I think that was everything that I wanted to go over for the annual report. So next I'll shift gears into the biannual report. So just want to be clear, this biannual report file will not be present in your folder immediately. The biannual report is a requirement under the REC contract to provide a system status update every 6 months from the trade date. So we will, until the project is energized. So we will, on our side, go in and identify the projects that are due for a biannual report submission and put together a report of those projects for you, and we'll place that into your SharePoint folder. We'll send you an email notification to let you know to go into your folder to review this report. And it's not wanting to open here. Okay, there we go. And then you'll just need to use that same email link that we're sending you for the annual report to access your SharePoint folder, at any time. So I would recommend kind of bookmarking that email so it's easy to find, because you will need to do that verification process to access SharePoint. So again, we'll put this report in there for you. These first columns in the gray here, we're just going to input the projects that we need a system status update on. And then in the remaining columns in the blue is where you'll input your updates. So if the project has been canceled or completed, that's really all you need to put. If it is still in progress, you'll just need to provide a few other pieces of information. So the date that you expect it to be complete, if there's any delays, and if there have been any significant changes to the system. So it's the same information that's been requested in the past, just in a different format. Okay, so again, we'll put this in your folder when it's time for you to respond, and we'll send you an email. And then once it's filled out by you, you can just exit and it will automatically save, and then we will share your updates with the utilities. Okay, so Mike, I'm going to stop sharing and pass the screen back to you. The last item that we'll be handling over SharePoint during this transition period is the CSV template option for community solar disclosure forms. So we'll be providing more information on that in the next program announcement. So stay tuned for more details there. And with that, I believe it is up over to Michelle for email-based processes.
Thanks, Keely. My name is Michelle Vella-Murphy. I'm the Senior Project Manager of Operations on the Energy Solutions team. Just walking you through some email processes. The process to request an extension has not changed, so you will still email the request. The only difference is that Energy Solutions will be sending an email of the Schedule A within 24 hours of the extension being approved. So it won't be instantaneous, it'll be within 24 hours. The responses to need info requests have not changed. So provide any need info requests and we will process in your application. Any request for a designee or nested designee changes, the portal access won't be available right now during this transition period. But if you send us that request, we're going to track them to update in the future. And for any additional questions, feel free to email us at any time and we can get back to you. Thank you so much. And with that, I will hand it over to Tamara to talk about what's next.
Great, thanks so much, Michelle. So just to give you a snapshot of what's coming, the Energy Solutions team is working diligently around the clock, including software development, road mapping new procedures, installing stakeholder support solutions, and more, including updates to the website and resources. And we're just really excited to continue rolling this out and sharing additional improvements and enhancements to the program over time. So please look out for a steady stream of updates and resources in the coming days and weeks and months. We're also planning additional opportunities for listening sessions, specialty discussions, and quarterly workshops with AVs and designees. I also wanted to call out that we have a second webinar scheduled for next week, July 6th, in case there are additional questions after the transition. We'll be collecting those and having any additional updates from this presentation. Now, let's see, we have a little bit of time remaining. I'm just going to see if there are any questions that were in the Q&A section that can be addressed. We've been answering them as we can, and we're going to keep, exploring these in the coming days and try to address them as well if we don't get to them today. So IPA or Energy Solutions team, is there any that folks want to talk through?
Hey, Tamara, this is Keely. I see a question about the annual report, which I can jump in and answer. So this question says, can the email for the annual report be forwarded to additional members of a company to open and access? So the answer to that, so we'll send those initial 2 emails to the main email addresses associated with the portal account currently. And then we can provide access for additional emails if that main email address is requesting it. We just, need to ensure that we're providing access to folks that should have it. So that's kind of the one thing to keep in mind there. And then the other thing is that the actual form can be filled out by anyone. So that doesn't require any email validation.
Great, thank you. Maybe this is another one for you, Keely. Oh my goodness, it just lost. Where will we be submitting indirect and direct data diversity information as part of the annual report? That is part of the SharePoint process.
So that information is directly in the form that we'll send a link out to. So there's part of the, I guess maybe if you want to call it like the more data pieces on like the numbers and percentages, those are provided directly in the form. And then the narrative pieces to that can be provided in the form, or you can also upload your responses to the SharePoint folder and we'll review them there.
Great, thank you. Randy, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I noticed there were several questions asked with regards to user logins. And I wanted to say that we've brought over all the user logins that exist today. We will be allowing for multiple user logons for the same vendor. So your user ID could be associated to multiple vendors, or one vendor could have multiple persons, each with a user login. So that's something we'll be permitting. I think that's a little bit different. If you choose to continue to have just one user logon for your firm, that will be your option. We do encourage individuals so that not only can multiple persons be in the system, but also so that you have better tracking and better security around who did what. but I thought that was a response that maybe I could provide.
Great, thank you. I see a lot of questions here about backlog applications. So just wanted to clarify, we will be continuing to review applications in the backlog during the pause period, anything that's been submitted before June 30th. And we'll be submitting additional information just in terms of how we're going to be processing that backlog during sort of the transition. So I wanted to make sure to say that. Let's see. So there's a few questions about when AVs can submit Part 1 and Part 2 applications. So there was a communication. I don't know, Mike, if we can pull up that that box with the different dates, but I would just refer back to that information and reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks. We will be providing a demo for the SharePoint CSV upload for disclosure forms during the July 6th webinar. I see that's a question. There's a question about with the legacy portal being read-only, how will customer changes be executed? So that will be something you need to reach out to us, the program administrators, on.
Hi, there was a question here about still being able to send residential solar disclosure forms from Omar to the homeowners before contract signing. So if the idea here is that you'll have a disclosure form, then will you still be able to create those PDFs and download them and either get them wet signed or upload? But we do have to have a signed disclosure form before a contract is signed, and that is program regulations. That's no change from the existing situation.
Okay, and I see there's a few other questions coming in. I think we will take some of these offline and respond to them either via communication or via the next webinar next week. Anything else from the team that folks see that want to get addressed right now? Trying to answer as much as we can in real time.
Yeah, I think just clarifying that Part 1 and Part 2 applications in terms of questions around what can be submitted when, really to refer back to that chart that has the dates of when those specific actions will become available. That is also available since if you don't want to refer to this slide deck constantly for those dates, if you go to illinoisabp.com/transition-updates, that is our transition hub with all updates and all anything related to the transition is there, and that table with those key dates is there as well. And I can put that link in the chat. Oh, and Randy already did.
Thank you.
Or Emily did. Thank you, Emily.
Great. Well, I think we want to take some careful time to review all of these questions and make sure we get answers back. We will respond to all of these and post them as soon as we can. Just really want to thank everyone for your time today and really look forward to continuing to work with you during the transition. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.